Another rainy day. Had to get this inflatable patched. I unfortunately left it outside in the wintertime. And I got shit for it, but whatever. And a rat bit, a hole in the bottom, or just on the outside bottom. He ate a chunk about the size of a Smartie. And so I had to get that patched up, spray it out, get it put together. Now it's sitting here doing the air test. And you guys thought I was gonna go, you guys thought I've shown you some adventures in the past, well now it's gonna ramp up. So I'm just gonna throw a small outboard on that, and then one of the things I can't wait to do, I'm gonna be doing the next month is, you know the river that I flew the drone on that opens up a lot of these videos? I'm gonna float that river more than once and float it from as far up the river as I can. And I'm going to drift that river down to Sprout Lake and then use the motor to get back to the boat ramp. I'm going to put a GoPro on top of it, do some fishing and some snooping. And that is as well, that river, this Halo River. You know, I'm not looking to prove anything at all, but I do like to go and frequent the same areas sometimes where a lot of these current episodes are going on, and that is one of the places for sure. Besides my backyard. But more so, there's supposed to be some great big trout in there in June or May, and I wouldn't mind taking Sarah down there and maybe possibly getting her into fly fishing, catch a couple of those trout, and just see that new ground. And then I'm going to drag this out to the coast, and then I'm going to go do some snooping. I'm going to go do some snooping in and out of all those little remote inlets in and around Barkley Sound and other places. And I got a couple guys that want to go after some huge bears. We're going to use that to do it. And I'm going to videotape all I can. And snoop and video and snoop and video and snoop and video. See it all, do it all. And then eventually expand the adventures using this inflatable behind me. Another place I'm going to take it to soon will be Namit Lake. I'm going to take it to that lake where my mother had that thing go between the cabin they were in and the wall, the mountain behind them, as well where I went as a boy in the float plane, and I was literally felt like I was shitting my pants the whole time I was standing on that beach trying to fish. And I've had, I don't know how many people have emailed me in their experiences in that area, more so the north end of the lake, or would be west end, I guess, northwest end of that lake. But I know where that, I think I remember where that old A-frame cabin was on the east side. And I'm going to go snoop around, I'm going to find that cabin. And I'm also going to try to find the cabin that we stayed in when I was a boy. And I'm going to snoop around there, and I'll take you guys there. And if you don't remember, I flew the drone above that lake, and there wasn't an ounce of wind. And one complete side of that lake is nearly one whole side of that valley has never been logged before. And I want to go snoop around there. And that's also coincidentally a fly fishing only lake with big trout in it. And all these areas is where I was hoping I was going to be able to take Dave Pilatus with me on these adventures. We probably will one day, but until the criminal governments get replaced and remove these toxic, fascist, bogus travel restrictions, we're just going to have to be patient and carry the line. Be patient and carry on as we are until that can go down, but it will go down. Anyways, so I got a little bit of time, so I'm going to make some shares here. I've got, I don't know, 6 or 7 emails lined up. I just number them 1 to 7, so make sure I haven't read them before. And I'll read them in order, starting right now with my token roosters going at it in the background. This is titled, Sabe, Maine Yankee Nuclear Power Plant. First, thanks for your efforts in trying to declutter the foolishness from honest effort. My name is Sean Little. I live in Livermore Falls, Maine, and I've been here my whole life. A little background may help or hinder, depending on how all things must be looked at. For view, I am one of 8 children, me being the youngest of those born in '67, to a generally good father / mother that in some ways were not. Alcohol and violence causing me to leave out into the world at 12 years of age. That's sad. Sadness. I would sleep under a loading platform on Cumberland Wharf in Portland, Maine, and which brought me into the commercial fishing industry. In shortening a long story, as I'm not sure if you are aware, unless you're a lobsterman, you are not allowed to bring bugs, lobster as we speak, that's what we call prawns here, in on a commercial ground fishing boat. So we would place the bugs into a sink trap and drop it someplace along the coast and then pick them up at a later time. On this occasion I'm writing about, we dropped a trap load off from Maine Yankee Nuclear Power Plant in Wiscasset, ME, while coming back from a piece of bottom known as the Kettle. And then, as heading back to Portland, Ray, my captain and children's future grandfather, remembered that we had a short 10-net string up at the lightship and to get it done. Heading to do so, now a drop back to sinking the bugs. When doing that, what was strange was in a hot and no wind whatsoever dusk/dark evening, a quick but strong movement of wind slid across my back, and I say slid because it felt like that, though it was a breeze, I thought. Well, we get up to the lightship and hooked onto the buoy and began bringing the nets aboard, and what should have been a fairly short, quick process became a longer effort because of a big snarl from a basking shark that had been caught into it. And being that we were so tired, Ray just figured we'll go on anchor, and after we bend on the gear and haul the remaining nets in the morning and head in, offload, and be done for that day. Well, that night I woke up maybe 2, maybe 3 in the morning to relieve myself over the rail, and I noticed that the boat was sort of listed. You know, lead line on one side, float line to the other, so you'll get that a little bit, but we seemed a little bit more. I wasn't sure why, but it didn't matter that moment until I thought about it later. But what occurred was, I was standing there, and out of the corner of my eye, and a blink of light from the horizon screams up at an extremely fast speed. Okay, hold on. There's a couple of typos here. Let me say that again. I thought about it later, but what occurred was, I was standing there, and out of the corner of my eye, and a light from the horizon screams up at an extremely fast speed and stops above the boat. And it's there for a moment, and I can look up into the bottom of this craft. I couldn't see the edges, so I don't know if it was rounded or pyramidal, or whatever shape. But in that moment, I looked up and I could see a sabe stride away from the opening and something smaller, much to the side of it. And in a blink of an eye, it was gone. And I don't know what to think of it, but I did remember that when we were over by Maine Yankee Nuclear Power Plant, that breeze sliding / blowing across me. And I think now that we picked up something from the land to the boat after, as I was setting that gear of bugs into the water and Ray saying it out to us as I began to throw it over. Within a minute of that, but as it was going over, there's some serious punctuation missing. Sorry, you guys, I'm trying not to be awkward. Within a minute of that, but as it was going over, I felt that slide motion as if something had heard or read our thought on where we were going to go after from the shore, and I think it had something to do with what occurred that night while the rest slept and I went out on the deck. I'm grateful for your time, and you can use my name. It's not a problem. I'm grateful for your time. Believe me, I'm well aware of people trying to muddy an issue with an effed up topic. Respectfully, Sean Little. Sean, thanks, man. A little bit of grammar missing there, no big deal. And that's something else. That's something else to witness and something else to come forward and share publicly, right? When I'm talking to everybody listening right now, how many people wake up in the morning and decide to think up that one out of boredom and then try to find somebody's email on a YouTube channel and then take the time it takes to type that out and send it in? Not too many, I don't think, right? That's an odd one. It's an odd one, but it's not uncommon to have something similar to that emailed in or witnessed from somebody around the globe somewhere. And I will tell you what, I wasn't there. I cannot tell this person that he's a bullshitter. I can't tell him he's making up. I can't tell him that he's seeing things. It's his ride, his puzzle piece, and he's sharing it with us. So take from it what you will or leave it. And if you have witnessed something similar, come on forward, come on out forward, come on out and share it with the people. Just be honest with the people, be honest with yourself, get it off your chest. Because there is crazy ass shit like this going on. Unfortunately, right? All because we're being lied to and manipulated since day one. And our story is a mystery. Thanks for sending that in, man. Thanks for sending that in. Alright, this is titled, What Followed My Encounters. Hello, Steve, please share if you feel fit. I'm hoping that by reading this, and between Edgar's and Owlman, maybe this will help and possibly others out there can come forward as well. I'm particularly wondering in the beginning of Owlman's journey with the Sabe, this is happening to him as well, possibly others too. I wrote into you back last April about my encounter here in Alaska and the events that happened over the weekend with the rod-like lights, low fog, and sulfur smell that reminded me of hometown, the Great Salt Lake, and what I described as a very large being behind me. When I went to turn around, it was stopped by its chest. I've listened to the videos and the phenomenon knowledge coming through these past several months. It was actually the past 2 days with Edgar and Owlman's that I felt like it was time to say what has been happening and the visits I've been getting. I'll make this as summed up as I can. Everyone's time is valuable. After my encounter in April, during the summer, we travel all over the great state and take family and friends up to our cabin fishing and throughout Alaska. Even the great hidden off the map sites, those ones are the best. Last summer while at our cabin, we've had in the family since 1970, with 9 longtime hunters and fishermen, we heard that howl/roar-like scream 7 times. It actually shook me to my core. When I looked for my dog, she was sitting on my leg and peed on my foot. Never have we ever heard that. Then started these so real-like dreams. This, Steve, is when the weird stuff started. One night I started thinking about my encounter and how the Sasquatch disappeared and what happened to Edgar. Why some experiences are so frightening, others are not, and then I fell asleep. I woke up around 4 a.m. to the loudest, deep cat purring noise I've ever heard. Only problem I had, no cat in my bed, let alone my room. It was so weird and puzzling, but I was still half asleep. So I laid back down. As I was falling asleep, I heard and felt this deep purring noise again, and actually could feel it in my chest. Then, in an instant, with a vacuum-like feeling, I was pulled out of my room and into a forest. I was standing by a mom and daughter Sasquatch. They motioned me to follow them, and I did. They showed me where they lived, different types of wooden plants and structures. I could smell and see everything so incredibly vividly, more than any other old dream. After this, I woke up, but not normally. I woke up with a complete jolt, as if I was thrown back in my bed. Steve, from then on, I was having a dream like this, if not once a week, a few times. Then it turned into, before I'm even asleep, I could see pictures or scenes, clear as if I'm standing in the environment myself. But in my mind, as well, it also comes with the download of information and explanation. Something that takes you and I time to explain, but all at once with the scene. With Edgar's experience, was he taken through their realm and carried back down the hill through a portal? I asked because that morning I woke from what I thought was a weird and way too surreal dream. I noticed my shirt was inside out when I went to get dressed. Now I know it wasn't inside out the day before after doing the laundry. I always instantly hang or fold the clothes, including folding and turning them right side out if needed. I've always been a very intuitive and sensitive girl since I was little. I've had many non-conventional things happen to me, so much that it became very overwhelming and struggle at one point in my life. I had a very unstable upbringing for a sensitive kid, and some personal trauma and abuse that happened to me when I was younger that left me very sick for a while. I'm also what the medical field would call ADD and a dreamer. I always had a deep knowing that they, meaning modern medical, called it a problem. I'd always think, if it's a problem, how come I know things before they do? Or how come I could have a deep worldly knowing about things and explain or present in a way that's more understanding than their damn dumb books? I even conquered a lot, grew up to run a successful business doing what I love, and raising a beautiful and deeply intelligent girls. Owlman said they speak like OCD, autistic, and like someone with ADD, that I can say for a fact, or what I've experienced with them to be very true. That's what I meant about I would be shown a scene or a picture, like in my mind, but get an explanation with it. Yet, speaking wise, it's very simplistic singular words like world, clan, / family, food, etc. The other weird synchronicity is one of these dreams last fall, as with Sabe, other humans, and we were fighting off these wolves. They were extremely vicious. Oh shit, whoops, sorry. There we go. I've not told anyone about this. Honestly, Steve, I didn't know what to think of that dream until I heard what Owlman said with his knowledge. Steve, my question is, how many people are having dreams about Sasquatch beings, either after an encounter or just even lately? And if Owlman is listening, did this happen to him as well? And if we are going through a portal or a spirit wind tunnel, is this what turns our clothes inside out? From what I've gathered searching information, it's almost like the mirror effect, or upside down. Is this what makes our clothing become opposite of what it is? My experiences haven't stopped at Sasquatch either. I feel it's so much more than this. I know that somehow it's all connected, like growing up and the schooling system, and trying to put those of us down for ADD/ADHD, like we're a problem, which I did find funny because I've always looked at them almost with a chuckle, like they're the very sad, closed-minded ones. They have to be told what to do rather than think and live for themselves. I hope maybe this helps someone, Steve. And possibly, if Owlman is listening, could he touch on this? Or the hero Edgar, if he possibly is listening, and his knowledge with his career, could this be possible when traveling through, forgive me for not using the correct word, portal, different energetic vibration? Edgar, I deeply hope you know that what you've brought forward is epic and historical. Thank you, sir. Steve, thank you for what you've done. Also, I know you apologize about your rants, but if people can't feel that these things are off, then I don't know what to say to them. I'm baffled. It's almost comical that it takes gas prices to go up for people and to stop and think, oh shit, they really are a bunch of idiotic clowns. It could be the ring around the rosies of different narratives and complete takedown of information that they think they have the authority over everyone to hear, or even the proof of documents of their money laundering, lies, etc., whatever. Everyone could go on for decades about the BS. What an absolute disgrace. I even had my channel taken down because of showing documents, and I'm a nobody. Sorry for the rant there. Take care of yourself, Sarah, and your beautiful animals, Steve. I'm going to leave my name out of this. I would like to leave a little privacy to my family members and let them come forward when they feel the time is right. Your friend from Alaska. All right. Absolutely appreciate you. Oh, hold on. Here's another second email attached to the bottom. Titled, One Little Major Key Point I Forgot to Mention. After I had the first weird dream, possibly pulled from this realm-like experience, my joints and my muscles hurt. I felt like I was completely dragging and like I was all out of sorts. I couldn't even say. It was like my whole body ached and was just absolutely drained of energy. Sorry for not adding this and sending 2 emails. Okay, gotcha. Got you back. Appreciate your time. And you know the Owlman's listening. And I'm pretty certain he's going to chime in and email me again and do a little follow-up to your questions without a doubt. So, good for you for coming forward. All right? I hope just coming forward like this helps you. I'm sure it has. but I'm confident the Owl Man is going to email us again for sure. Now getting on to Edgar, I did email Edgar yesterday, inquiring how he is, whether he's still around, and I also made mention to him that I was a little concerned about us being blatant, having a little bit of attitude with I don't give a shit, this is my name, this is what I know, and I don't care what anybody thinks. I hope he hasn't been intervened and cut off from us. I hope, but it would be very unfortunate. I also hope that he's healthy and still here with his family. I don't know if Edgar's been able to watch these or not. I know his son watches these, and maybe he will chime in or email me again. He's emailed me a couple times in the past, especially when we were looking for Edgar over a year ago. And what else? Like I said earlier, I do have contact information for a few of Edgar's colleagues. And I know a lot of people out here in this end of it, behind the lens, we can move behind the lens, watching your screen, there's a lot of impatient people out there, very impatient. And impatience is a shitty characteristic, man. I've had to deal with impatience all my life, especially my professional guiding career. I've had to take people and spend time in the woods with people who just aren't patient. And trying to teach patience to someone who doesn't have it is probably one of the most challenging things I've ever come across, and I still don't know how to do it. But I've got patience myself, and I can wait. And I'll wait and see if Edgar gets back to us. If he doesn't, then I will directly contact his colleagues, okay? So, all's not lost there for the information that we all seek. But I hope that Edgar is well. All right, there's my update there. Now, I'm not sure if Edgar knows much about portals, though. Getting back to the previous email, I'm not sure if he ever mentioned portals, did he? I mean, he shared with us that shit-eating experience that he had, and he did not feel good either. I do recall that. We'd have to go back. You guys could probably go back on that video. I'd have to go back on the email. I don't even know where all the videos are on my damn channel, right? And then listen to his story firsthand. I think that was the email where I was blowing a gasket, pissed off, angry, because of what the poor man had to go through, and he was really messed up from it, and he had nowhere to go, and that really made me angry. And I think that might have been the title of that email. But I do recall he didn't feel too good after himself. Anyway, let's see who chimes in from that one, right? Might be a little bit. If I notice that we get an answer from the Owl Man right away, I'll be sure to read that right away too, okay, you guys? In the meantime, if anybody's had the similar experience as this person, let's hear about it. All right? Now, this is titled, What Was That? I was raised in West Virginia, living in the center of the Hughes River hunting area. In about 1970, I was about 12 years old at this time. My father and uncle and I were ginsenging in the Little Islands Run area. We were in the locally called flatlands, where the hills slooped down to the river. I was some distance from the others, always prone to go my own way. Dad didn't worry, I was well versed in the hills and survival. As I crossed over a small ridge, I started into a cove, looking for a prime area. I heard something whack a tree. I stopped and was looking, and another hit a tree in front of me, then another. This one I saw. It was a rock as big as a bowling ball. I wasn't scared. At this time, I'd never even heard of Bigfoot, but I figured it was a local family known for moonshine stills. So I turned and returned the way I came in. I heard no tree knocks or screams or anything else. I told Dad, and he said I did the smart thing and to avoid that area. He wasn't concerned. I never saw one or heard tree knocks. I've spent my entire life in the outback. However, lots of strange stories in this area. About 5 miles air course, an older man I knew, I'll refer to him as Pete, a sawmiller, hard-working man of a few words. When Pete spoke, you needed to listen. Here's what he said. In about 1965, he was logging in the McFarland Creek area. He had cut a hillside off. He had cut all morning till noon. Went to the skid yard to eat, returning on the log, skidded, going out the ridge. He looked over the hillside where he previously logged off, and there was something that looked like an upside down metal garbage can floating around on the flat. It seemed to hesitate over the larger tree stumps. After a few minutes, it just took off, quartering upward and out of sight, never to be seen again. That's a little different. Same area, 3 miles there, of course, in the Depression era of the 40s. My father and grandfather and 4 other men walked down and across the Hughes River and up Rocky Hollow. This is a big shelf rock, and folks camped out there from time to time while hunting and ginsenging in the area. They arrived and set up camp, planning to ginseng for 2 or 3 days. This was a local way for people to make extra money through hard times. After dark, something started making loud noises. Rocks flew over the hill, landing out in front of them, limbs breaking, and continued all night. At the break of daylight, they packed up and left out. Strange stuff. But I know what I saw and heard. I believe old Pete, and I believe my family and their neighbors who told of that night. Keep doing what you're doing. We'll find answers. The truth always comes. Beast comes out. Be safe. Billy Joe. Billy Joe, thanks for that email, man. West Virginia, I've been there too. Ran around those hills. It's beautiful there. It's definitely beautiful there. And there's no shortage of country around there too, is there? And it's right next to Pennsylvania, right? PA, with a shit pile of experiences there too. Ginseng, I've never gone after that. I don't think we have any of that here. I think so. That's an odd descriptive of what you saw in the flat. Very bizarre. Yellowstone Giant is the title of this email. My name is Julie. 1988. Dad and I went to Yellowstone National Park to celebrate my high school graduation. We drove to a spot behind the lodge. We set up a place to eat, started the grill. And all of a sudden I felt threatened. Rock 1 came at my head. I put out the grill, ran to the car, turned, and got one shot of the 10-foot creature, dark, rusty brown, standing on the ridge above us. And got one shot. One shot. I wonder if you meant one sight? Maybe you didn't mention a camera. I saw broken canines, long fur draping off its body, high brow ridge, sunken small eyes, and the smell made you gag. Rock 2 hit the bumper of the car. We left, told the park police. They treated us like we were crazy. Said you saw a bear. BS. I saw a monster bipedal animal. Looked like a man and a great ape. Went back to the spot. Food in the grill was gone, but that feeling was still there and made me nervous to the point we headed home. I got the photo and sent it to Dr. Blank at Idaho State University. I was shocked when I got it back and there were 4 creatures. It showed I was being hunted. Let me read that sentence one more time. I was shocked when I got it back. There were 4 creatures that showed I was being hunted. To this day, I'm now terrified of the woods. Studied wildlife, forestry, conservation, animal science, birds, virology, forest science. I'm not doing this for attention. I'm not lying. I know what I saw and I'm still scared. Say a prayer when you go out. These things are dangerous and vicious. All right. Julie, I don't need to tell you, but when you claim to have a picture like that and you don't include it in your email, the crowd's going to go wild, right? The crowd's going to go wild. I'm sure the comment section below this, people are going to be going, oh, here we go. Somebody claiming to have a picture and they didn't share it again, right? That's just telling you what's coming. For me to not see a photograph, just me, no big deal. Doesn't bother me the slightest. But one thing I will mention to you and everybody listening is a lot of people claim to have felt that they evaded being taken down because they felt that they were being moved into an ambush, or like you said, I was being hunted. Well, this is what I can say from listening and with my knowledge of true hunting and predators. if any of these beings are hunting you, you're dead. Okay? If you were, quote, being hunted, there's no way you would have escaped them, and there's no way they would have thrown a rock and given you a warning. You would just be taken down and you would be dead. Or gone, whatever it is. And that doesn't matter, that's not just whatever this being was you saw. That is speaking from knowing the habits of natural predators, any predators. I'm a predator. I'm a natural predator, and I hunt and gather. And I do not warn anything when I'm coming to get it. I just don't. No predator, no successful predator warns its prey. No human, no simple human as well, side note, would be able to avoid an ambush. Like so many people said they felt like they were being, herded along to get to an ambush point where they could have been ambushed. Not a chance. There's not a chance in hell that is what's going down. They want you out of there. They want you out of there. If they don't need human beings to walk from this part of the timber to that part of the timber so they can successfully harvest your ass. You guys picking up what I'm putting down? They just don't. If something like this wants you, it's just going to come walking right up to you and take you. Right? If something is being a successful predator of human beings, especially unarmed human beings, they don't need to hide. They don't need to do anything. All they have to do is walk right up to you, or even walk right up to your car and rip the door off and grab you by the scruff of the neck. Right? There you go. Here's my 2 bits. If you do want to share that photograph with the rest of the crew here, you can send it to me and I'll share it. All right? I will share it. Be safe out there. All right, here we go. Here's another one. This is the title. Oregon is not Boregon. All right. Yo, my dude Steve and other awesome peeps listening to these experiences being shared. During the summertime of the 90s to early 2000s, my family, consisting of multiple non-blood members, would camp at White Creek Campground and others in that area in Glide, Oregon. Many strange occurrences, multiple spiritual, paranormal experiences. The ones that stuck through were being charged. The ones that stuck through were being charged by angry spirits. The one mainly that plays through my mind the most is when I went up. The trail across from our camp goes up about a mile before there's a drop-off. Anywho, I went up by myself. I was having a hard time that day. I was around 12 or 13 at the time, just walking, enjoying the smells and beautiful but eerie views the forest has to offer. I got towards the end as I smelled an unusual but familiar smell and a noise I hear almost every night while I'm trying to sleep at camp. The smell is like a skunky, sulfur, putrid, dead animal smell. Definitely not pleasant by any means. I hear this grunting, and I look down at the creek below, down a steep embankment around 100 feet away. This huge, reddish-brown and black hair-covered bipedal being hunched over, splashing around in the water with their hands. I'm assuming trying to catch crawdads or small fish. I was taken aback, knowing exactly what I was staring at, so I backed up a little bit, trying not to piss myself, and not fear, but shock mostly. All of a sudden, in a step, I snapped a twig underneath my foot while backing up. This creature stands up quickly, turns from the waist up, and that face, so human-like, but more caveman-looking, if that makes sense, those eyes looking straight into my soul, and I can feel the "oh shit, I wasn't paying attention" from them in my mind. I'm wanting to scream, but I can't make a sound. I heard a voice inside saying, "Run." They look beside them, and in a split second, they just bolt the other way, my head turning to watch them. Well, there's more than one now. I see them stepped behind a huge tree, and they were nowhere to be seen. I don't know the gender, but it was at least 7 to 8 feet tall, abnormally long arms, built like an epic pro wrestler. Non-steroidal, LOL. Had to be at least 500 plus pounds. All through my childhood at that campground area, I always felt being watched, and not from the usual parental watching. I know they're around with rocks hitting the tents at night, hands running across the tent, the smell. Needless to say, I don't like camping anymore. I'll go into the woods with people for the day, but I won't stay past dark. The being/creature didn't scare me. It was more like shock. Of course, the adults laughed at me when I said what I just experienced. I've seen them on numerous occasions in the hills, driving down the highway, peeking around trees. My name is Tom Sweely. I live in Eugene, Oregon, and I don't give two pimples of a donkey's ball sack if people believe me or my name gets shared. I know what I've experienced, and I'm not scared to admit it. Thanks for letting us awesome, knowledgeable people have a safe place. Take care. Okay, man, there you go. You've seen them a whole bunch of times. That's a little alarming. But many people have seen these things a bunch of times. If you got knowledge that's going to help people, get it into me, all right? Anything that helps people, get it to me. Take from what you will, you guys, or leave it, all right? It's his ride. It's his ride, his experience, and he was generous to share it here. Now, here's one that I semi-thought about. I just noticed it when I was numbering. I look at the list, and if I see the emails, I make sure they're encountered. I don't read them. I just see that it's, you can start to glance down. Oh yeah, that's something happened to somebody. And then I'll mark it number 1, and then I'll do like 7, because I think I usually do 6 or 7, depending on the size of them. And then I got my 6 or 7 in line to read. That's what I've done. And in doing so, I quickly glanced down this one. It's mostly photographs. And you know what my stance is on photographs. But this person asked me to share. I believe they've emailed us in the past. I'm going to share it. All right? If anybody knows anything else about what I'm about to share, email me. Fill us in. Now this is titled, Pics You Need to See. Steve, I hope this email finds you well. I've emailed you before. I am ex-military, infantry. I thought I would send these to you. The first 2 pictures were sent to me from a trusted friend still in the military. I was asked to leave the location out. They were shot and killed near a top secret location dealing with advanced technology and weapons. There's not much more that I can say on this matter. The next 4 pictures was something I caught off one of your videos. The video name escaped me, but I noticed something out of place, so I had to rewind the video and zoomed in and advanced the video frame by frame and caught this. I found it interesting and thought I would send it to you. Thank you for your time as well as all that you are doing. Sincerely, Brian Anderson. Okay, Brian? Where are we? That's a little different. I know what that is. That was when I was videotaping the moose fighting down below in the early, kind of mid-spring down in the flats. Odd. And that as well, just so you guys know, those pictures are very, very close to where the stand is. And also straight below me where this photograph was where another guy was camping and had that thing standing over, was towering over a log in the riverbed looking at him. And also just to the left of this photo, that way about 600 yards where another fella wrote in about his father getting chased out of the timber by something absolutely terrifying. And the list goes on, right? So there you go. Anybody knows anything of these photos, I don't know, email in, comment section below. I don't know anything about these photos. I don't know where they came from. I don't know nothing. I don't know if they are legit. I haven't a clue. But if these were proven to be a hoax somewhere previously, I'm sure somebody's going to fire it up and share what they know, right? But there you go, Brian. Share it. Let the games begin in the comment section below the video, no doubt. Looks pretty bizarre though, doesn't it? And the pictures from my video is what it is, man. is what it is. Well, it's 5 o'clock. I'm supposed to go to the store. Sarah's working for another hour. Maybe I got time. I'll do that. What else? Let me go down the list again. So I've read the 1 to 7 or whatever it was, 6. And where's another one that isn't too long? Okay, here's a short one. I haven't included. This is about, mark it as read. Searching for answers. Dear Steve, just want to ask your viewers or yourself if you have heard any stories from the Uinta mountain range in Utah/Wyoming. Yes, tons. As I live in that area myself, I would like to be more knowledgeable on the place I call home. I've had multiple weird instances happen to me whilst hunting and camping, but I've never had a sighting. But one of the strange things I have seen while hiking through the Wyoming range, I came across a tree that was roughly 15 feet or so tall that appeared to be broken off from wind or snow load. But the interesting thing I can't quite wrap my head around was the root system of the tree was sticking up in the air 15 feet or so, and the tip where it had been broken off looked to have been stuffed into the ground. This tree had to weigh upwards of 3,000 pounds. So there's no way a human could have done this without heavy equipment. It was at least 15 miles away from any road, so that pretty much rules out that possibility. But anyways, just wanted to hear what you thought about it, and or hear from your viewers about possible activity in the Uinta Mountains that are in Utah and Wyoming. Thanks, Steve. All right, yeah, there's a lot of knowledge about that. And there is some photographs available taken in Alaska of that. I think there's a good handful of photographs of that floating around now. I can't say it's just on the internet, found on the internet, but a lot of people shared it on books. I know a guy I gathered for in the mid-north coast of Vancouver Island, west coast, very remote. And I've shared the story before. He was guiding people late September, early October for river run coho, salmon and river fly fishing. And they take a boat like this inflatable right behind me. They got a couple of these, load them up with 2 anglers per and the guide, and they go up the remote river. And that is, they travel due straight east of Cayuga, up a big river there. And there's elk there too on that river system. Boat inflatable access only. And they go up the river for a ways, beach the Zodiacs, and they get out and disperse and fly fish the river. And what had happened, he told me he had gone up the river with a client, and they were around 300 yards upriver from the rest of the gang who was down below them. And they heard a scream/roar that absolutely scared the living shit out of them from upriver in the timber on their side of the river. And he also told me that they took off. And by the time they got within sight of where the boats were, all the other anglers and the other guide were already in the Zodiacs ready to leave. That's 300 yards farther away from where the sound originated. I believe he said it was about, sounded like it was around 100 yards ahead of them in the timber. And then the next time they went back there, there was the same deal. There was a log root system upside down, poof, jammed into the pool in the river, where they were about to fish when the scream came out of the timber above them. And that's somebody I've known all my life told me that, and that happened to him. So how's that for a little frickin' bizarre? And it's funny how many people, well, I'm guilty of the same thing. I've had a camera on a tripod in front of me and had weird shit going on, and I don't even think about hitting record. All I want to do is leave. So I'm curious to know if you took a photograph of that tree upside down or not. I'd love to see it myself. That stuff, those photographs are very interesting to me because you can't fake that shit, right? You cannot fake a tree with the root system sticking up in the air, upside down, jammed into the ground, especially a 3,000 pound log, right? And for me, all the time I spend in the woods, yeah, I like to see that shit because that's like, who knows what did it? I don't know what's doing that. Haven't a clue. Got a good idea. But considering there are things coming from that direction, who knows? Who knows who does that? Until somebody sees actually gets to observe someone or something ripping a frickin' mature tree out of the ground, spinning it and stuffing it in the ground again. That'd be pretty bizarre. But anyway, gotta go. There is a shit pile of adventures coming that I'm gonna take everybody on, that's for sure. A shit pile of adventures coming, and things to see and video record and share. People to meet, people to talk to, emails to get in, knowledge to be shared and gathered and shared. I'm really curious about Edgar and how he's making out. I'm really curious to find out what's going on in that department. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna go. I will talk to you guys shortly. Be safe, and don't forget the Western government's positions, the leadership positions in Western governments are filled by absolute criminals currently, and that is a fact. And I'm going to keep reminding everybody about that fact non-stop because I have to. Talk to you shortly.
Steve, can you show me how Bigfoot runs?
Sasquatch runs like this.